In a previous life, my sister made me marry a scruffy and broke thug. 10 years down the line, that same thug turned into a billionaire stock market whiz, and I was living the luxe life. After being reborn, my sister hustled to grab the thug's hand, doing everything she could to tie the knot with him. But she had no clue. The real stock genius was me. Her guy was clueless, just a puppet I set up on the stage. When I was reborn, I found myself in a dimly lit sports gear room. In front of me stood a figure, breathing hard. It was my ex-husband, Tom. He ripped open my shirt, buttons flying, pressing his face against my neck like a wild animal. I was weak, my limbs twitching uncontrollably. In the chaos, it hit me. Time had rewound. I was 17 again, back to the day my sister Lily drugged me. Just as Tom was about to completely tear off my shirt, the sports room door crashed open from the outside. Someone rushed in. It was Lily. She looked like she had sprinted over, her hair sticking to her sweaty face. She didn't bother fixing it and grabbed Tom tightly. "Tom, don't be with her, you're mine." Suddenly, everything made sense. Lily and I had both been reborn. In the past life, Lily had a crush on the school heartthrob, but he had sent a love letter to me. Lily went nuts with jealousy, drugged me, and forced me to marry the worst thug in school, Tom. A decade later, Tom became the billionaire investment mogul, making me a wealthy socialite. Every day, I carried rare designer bags and drove a $7 million Rolls-Royce. Everyone envied me. They said, "Mia really married a great guy." Back when Tom was struggling, Mia saw his potential. Now she's living the dream. But Lily's rich second-gen hubby had long fallen into debt, chased by creditors. He would even flatter Tom. "Bro-in-law, you're the stock king, right? I admire you so much. Can you help me with my investments?" Whenever Lily saw me, her eyes were filled with uncontrollable jealousy and deep regret. Sure enough. At a family gathering, after Tom said he was heading to the bathroom, I saw Lily follow him to the corner. In the hallway, I stood in the shadows, eavesdropping through a thin door. Lily was crying, her voice slurred with drunkenness. "Tom, you liked me back then." Lily hugged Tom, trying to kiss him. Tom gasped and shoved Lily away forcefully. He said stiffly, "That was over 10 years ago." Lily fell to the ground, still crying. "Have you forgotten? You brought me breakfast every day, gave me rides, said I'd always be your goddess, and that you'd do anything I asked. Tom, you were supposed to be mine." Tom ignored Lily, hurriedly fixing his messed-up clothes, and stormed out. His expression was like facing an unavoidable disaster. Lily lost all hope, slumped on the cold bathroom floor. I opened the bathroom door, looked down at her, and spoke coldly. "Stop sitting there. Anyone who knows would think you failed to seduce my husband. Anyone who doesn't might think you're acting in some sad teen movie." Lily looked up sharply, her eyes full of hatred. "Why you, Mia? What makes you better than me? Why do you get to marry into wealth?" I coldly shook off her hand. "Get it straight, Lily. I'm with Tom because of you. Seeing Tom successful now, you regret it. Too bad, it's too late." Lily stared at me intensely, then shook her head and laughed viciously. "Mia, you're wrong. It's not too late." Back then, I didn't get what she meant, but now, looking at my 17-year-old body, I do. Lily might have tapped into some kind of system and brought us both back to 17. Living another life, she wants to win back the man who should have been hers. Now, in the sports gear room, Tom was breathing heavily, his face filled with desire. He looked at me, feeling awful. Lily forcibly turned Tom's head, making him look at her instead. "Tom, I love you." She kissed him passionately, and soon they were entwined. Watching them kiss feverishly from not far away, I struggled to get up, buttoned my clothes, and stumbled out. Thank heavens, thank you, Lily. I never imagined I could escape this nightmare and start fresh. In my past life, Lily had drugged both Tom and me, locking us in the sports gear room. She then brought our parents and neighbors to catch us. The neighbors saw Tom and me in disarray. My parents felt ashamed, convinced no other man would want me, and forced me to marry Tom. When I refused, they locked me at home, giving no food or water, beating me daily. Lily cried beside them, pleading, "Just marry Tom. Otherwise, for the sake of the family's name, they'll have to beat you to death." Eventually, near death, they forced me to marry Tom. Even though I later had riches, this incident was a lifelong shadow. Now, I've finally escaped the shadow. At dinner, Lily returned, her face flushed with excitement. She couldn't wait to announce that she wanted to marry Tom. Our parents were so shocked they dropped their chopsticks. Lily, why? Tom keeps failing and is in his 20s still repeating grades. How is he good enough for you? Lily shook her head, insisting. Mom, Dad, I promise you Tom is just down now. He will have a great future. Our parents couldn't believe it and tried to convince her more. Mom even started to cry. Finally, annoyed, Lily shouted, It's no use stopping me. I've already given myself to Tom. She touched her belly. I might already be carrying his child. Our parents were stunned. Seeing her parents' shocked and hopeless faces, Lily calmly smiled. She sat down next to them, lovingly putting her arms around their shoulders. She started to comfort them. Mom, Dad, you have to trust your daughter. Remember when I told Dad not to get involved in business, and Mom to stop going to that shady clinic out east for treatment? Guess what? The guy who advised Dad just ran off with the money, and that dodgy clinic had a serious medical mishap. See, everything I say comes true. People have been calling me a lucky star since I was a kid. Did you forget? After Lily spoke, her parents' expressions began to relax. She continued to persuade them. So you have to trust my judgment in men too. Tom is destined to be wealthy. We'll have a great life. Mom was the first to waver. Really? Lily laughed. Of course, Dad too. She began to believe Lily. He started worrying, if Tom gets rich, will he mistreat you? Lily smiled calmly. No way, Tom is the type who spoils his wife. I remember in my past life after Tom's identity as the Stock King was revealed, countless young beauties chased after him. But he only had eyes for me, his original wife. He'd open the car door for me, serve me food during meals, and would follow my lead. Lily's current husband, despite being deep in debt, couldn't stop ogling younger girls. No wonder Lily was so jealous. Listening to Lily praise Tom in front of our parents, I silently ate my meal, pretending not to hear. But even though I ignored her, Lily wasn't done trying to make herself known to me. That night, Lily barged into my room. She stared at me, engrossed in my homework, and sneered. Mia, don't think I don't know what you're up to. You pretend to be all quiet, but you're scheming to steal Tom from me, right? Honestly, my sister's mindset was laughable. It's almost embarrassing to admit she's my sister, but I was happy to let her misunderstand. If Tom could occupy all her attention, she wouldn't compete with me for what's truly important. As she talked, Lily came closer. She grabbed my chin, forcing me to look at the mirror beside us. You might as well give up. Look at yourself. How could you ever compete with me? In the mirror was a skinny, dark-complexioned girl with thick-rimmed glasses and a worn-out school uniform. Next to her was Lily with her fair skin, silky black hair, and wearing a trendy dress. She was a head-turner on the street. I wasn't as pretty as Lily. Plus, our parents were biased, giving Lily the best food and clothes while leaving me undernourished and sickly. The contrast was obvious. Look at you. Do you really think any guy would like you? Lily kept taunting, venting all her past frustrations. Tom is my lapdog. He only married you because he couldn't get me. Next time, I won't give you the chance. Once I'm of age, I'll marry him. When he becomes the Stock King, you'll have no chance. Half of all that wealth will be mine. Lily's eyes gleamed. Yep, at his peak, the Stock King had assets worth billions. A divorce could get a half, plenty to live off, and date whoever she wanted. I twirled my pen, bowing my head deeply. Lily thought her words struck a nerve, but I bowed my head to hide my smile. Dear Lily, I love how you underestimate me. Your ingrained arrogance means that even if you relived 1,000 lives, you'd never guess that the real Stock King is me. Yes, I'm the one who built a fortune from nothing, with my smarts, courage, and luck. First by making huge gains in the stock market, then by heavily investing in Bitcoin at the perfect time, achieving complete financial freedom. My ID on the investment forums, S, was just a random keystroke. So they called me the Stock King. Many were curious about my true identity. Knowing I couldn't stay hidden forever, I put Tom in the spotlight as my puppet, or rather my scapegoat. Our world has many ups and downs. Sudden wealth brings envy, and sudden poverty brings danger. In those years, Tom was kidnapped 3 times and beaten up by enemies 4 times. When he returned with me to visit family, he'd just been beaten. He had a broken rib. That's why, when Lily hugged him, he grimaced and pushed her away. Despite bearing all the attacks in the spotlight, Tom never dared reveal the truth. He didn't dare cross me. Being my puppet, he at least enjoyed luxury. Without me, he'd be nothing. Looking at the clueless Lily, I smiled genuinely. "Lily," I said softly, "I wish you and Tom a lifetime of happiness. Go ahead, bind yourself to him, but I'll focus on my exams, save money for college, and get far away from this family." I sincerely hoped Tom and Lily would stick together. However, after school, Tom stopped me. He skidded his bike to block my path and gave a cocky whistle. "Mia, you look great today. What's the occasion?" I stepped back, feeling a chill. I knew Tom's true nature. He was a complete creep. In his world, the unattainable was always the most desirable. Last life, it was Lily. Now it was me. Clenching my teeth, I tried to sidestep him. "I'm going to work. Let me pass." I've been working at a supermarket recently, helping with the cash register to save some money for myself. The boss is really nice, seeing me in a school uniform that's too short and doesn't fit. He gave me some of his daughter's clothes to wear. A light blue cardigan and a snowy white skirt made me look a lot prettier than usual. Turns out Tom noticed me. Right now he's coming over, grinning slyly, working, doing what kind of work? "I've got some work for you too. Want to do it?" he said while trying to get closer to me. I held back my nausea, quietly slipped my hand into my bag, and grabbed a pair of scissors for self-defense. But before I could take them out, someone rushed out from the side. She shoved me aside hard and stepped in front of Tom protectively. "Mia, why are you always sticking to Tom for no reason?" Her voice was loud, finger pointing at my nose, trying to seduce Lily's fiancé. "Have you no shame?" Tom stood at a distance, touched his nose, and chimed in. "I just happened to meet Mia while riding my bike, and she wouldn't let me leave." Hearing this, Lily got even angrier. "Mia," still not giving up, "look at yourself in the mirror. Do you think you're good enough for Tom?" "I'm marrying Tom for sure. If you dare seduce him again, I'll have our parents sell you to the mountains." She then pulled Tom away and left, but clearly she still wasn't at ease. That night when I got home, I found my room had been ransacked. The tin box where I kept my savings was lying open in the middle of the room. All the money I had saved from working at the supermarket was gone, and Lily held the cash in her hand. Mia, looking smug, waved the cash in one hand and pointed at my nose with the other, her long nails almost poking my face. "This is the stash of money Mia has been hiding. She's been hanging out all the time, actually going to sleep with the supermarket owner. I saw him give her money and buy her new clothes." Lily pointed at the cardigan and skirt I was wearing and sneered. "Now everyone probably knows there's a mistress in our family." Before I could say anything, Dad, with a gloomy face, rushed over and slapped me hard. Mom stood beside him, crying and complaining. "People say this girl is unlucky. I took so many abortion pills and still couldn't get rid of her. Now look, she's disgraced our whole family." That's how my parents are. They've always unconditionally favored Lily. Lily could do no wrong. I, labeled a jinx by a fortune teller before birth, caused Dad's business to go bankrupt shortly after I was born. So, whatever I do is wrong. Then Dad seized all my savings and started beating me with a belt. Lily stood by with a self-satisfied smile, her tone manipulative, but pretending to be sympathetic. "Mia, don't blame Dad for beating you so hard. If he doesn't, you won't learn your lesson. Girls need to have self-respect. Don't you ever earn that dirty money again." I passed out from the intense pain. When I woke up, I was lying in the yard. My parents had taken Lily shopping. Lily was going to get engaged soon, so they were buying her a nice dress. I had lost all my savings, and I didn't even have any medicine around. Struggling to get up, I made my way outside the yard. Next door was my cousin's house. Only his wife was outside doing laundry. Seeing me so debilitated, I couldn't even speak. She was shocked. "Mia, my gosh, what happened to you?" My cousin's wife dropped the clothes and came to support me, only to find her hands smeared with blood. "Hold on, I'll get some medicine for you." Lying on the ground, I looked up at the sky. The moon was bright, but there are always dark corners in the world that it can't shine on. My cousin's wife was applying medicine to my wounds. "How could your parents be so cruel? After all, you're their own daughter," she lamented, wiping away tears. She was a kind-hearted woman, but had a hard life. Barely literate, she had to quit school after third grade to help at home. Later, her father sold her to my cousin to pay for her brother's bride price. Now she was tenderly treating my wounds, and I touched her arm, which was also covered in scars. My cousin often beat her. In my previous life, she died before I turned 20. After a long silence, I suddenly asked, "Do you have any savings?" She paused, then sighed in relief. "I do, about $2,000. "Why? I'm not asking for your money for school. I want to help you earn more," I explained softly. "I can turn your $2,000 into $20,000, even $200,000. She laughed, not believing me, and spoke to me as if speaking to a child. "Take the $2,000 for school. You can pay me back when you graduate. We're family, no interest, of course." I stayed quiet, gazing at the endless night sky. In my last life, I returned too late to save her. This time, I'm determined to help her and myself. "Lily, you're too foolish. With the chance to turn back time, all you can think about is getting a man, while my head is full of stock codes. Do you even realize what kind of advantages you've handed me?" Early Monday morning, I went to school with the money my cousin's wife gave me, planning to secretly escape during the long break to open an account at the securities firm. I never expected that. Just as I rode my bike out of the school gate and hadn't gone far, a figure would suddenly leap out from an alley ahead. The person swung a spiked wooden stick at me. In my rush to dodge, I fell off my bike, hitting the ground hard. Ignoring the pain, I quickly covered my backpack, which was stuffed with all the secret money my cousin-in-law had given me. In front of me were a pair of brand new designer shoes. Looking up, I saw a round, chubby face looking down at me with a malicious smile. I recognized him. He was Lily's husband from her previous life, Eric. Eric had been Lily's loyal backup since middle school. He was a wealthy heir whose dad did business in the South. While we were still stuck in drab school uniforms and wearing knockoffs, Eric knew all about foreign luxury brands. Eric had chased Lily for years. Lily disliked his looks, but couldn't let go of his wealth. So she kept stringing him along, using him as her backup throughout her teenage years. Eventually, Lily got older and didn't find a better catch, so she married Eric. Little did she know shortly after their marriage, Eric's family went bankrupt. Lily, who had invested with them, was also implicated. The whole family ended up in debt and couldn't even use public transport. No matter how miserable Eric might be in the future, at this moment, he was still that arrogant, wealthy scion. No one dared to offend him. So, protecting my backpack, I cautiously stepped back, not wanting a direct confrontation, but Eric wouldn't let me go. He kicked my face with the toe of his shoe and sneered. "Lily always said her sister was a sneaky little brat. Caught you red-handed sneaking out of school." "Where are you off to?" I whispered. "Just buying some stuff." "Buying stuff," Eric laughed. His laugh suddenly stopped as he snatched my backpack, dumping its contents on the ground. Pencils and books scattered everywhere, and an envelope fell out. I tried to grab it, but Eric was quicker, picking up the envelope. "So much money," he waved the bills. "What are you buying? Wedding treats for your sister and me?" He pocketed the envelope and said coldly, "Don't think I don't know. Lily told me everything. You're greedy and jealous of her, so you became someone's mistress to earn money for fancy dresses. Did you steal or cheat for this money? I'll tell Lily right now." Eric kicked me into the wall, dust flying everywhere. I coughed, but my mind suddenly cleared. Following me, Eric was definitely acting on Lily's instructions. We've both been reborn. Even after snagging Tom, Lily doesn't trust me, so she sent Eric to tail me. But that's not the point. The crucial part was what Eric just accidentally let slip. "Buying treats for your sister and me?" I burst out laughing. "Perfect. Eric doesn't know that my sister is already with Tom. Makes sense? To Lily, Eric is still useful. If Lily told Eric she was going to get engaged to someone else, how could he continue to obey her?" Eric was about to leave when he noticed my smile. He frowned and asked, "What are you laughing at?" My smile widened. "I'm happy for my sister. You love her so much and protect her. I'll have a great brother-in-law in the future. I really hope you get married soon," I said softly. Eric liked hearing that. His eyebrows relaxed, but he still eyed me suspiciously, saying nice things now. "Want me to let you go?" "You don't need to let me go. I haven't done anything wrong." I said, standing up and dusting myself off. This money is from my cousin-in-law. She heard about Lily's happy news and asked me to buy gifts for Lily. Eric's expression changed. He frowned. What happy news? Feigning confusion, I replied, no idea, but I heard from my parents that they plan to arrange an engagement for Lily before she goes to college. Since folks here know each other well, it's better than being tricked by bad men in a big city. I observed Eric's reaction and then chuckled. Idiot, you still don't get it. Eric looked puzzled. Get what? Lily's engagement is definitely with you, I said, beaming. Think about it. Everyone knows you like Lily. My parents said you're childhood sweethearts among the boys around. Who fits my sister better than you? Eric was suddenly pleased but uncertain. Why hasn't Lily mentioned this? I teased. Lily has thin skin. She must be shy, but she'll tell you soon. I've often seen her heading to the woods behind the school lately, probably preparing a surprise for you. Eric, completely smitten, asked excitedly. Really? Just go check, I suggested. I extended my hand. Give me the envelope. I still need to pick a dress for Lily. Do you prefer pink or blue? I'll choose according to your taste. Calling him brother-in-law made Eric overjoyed. Without thinking, he shoved the envelope back at me. Pink! Then he dashed toward the school. I figured he was eager to see what surprise Lily had for him. I smiled, whistling as I hopped back on my bike, feeling great. This surprise would be one Eric would never forget. I reached the securities company where my cousin-in-law Olivia was anxiously waiting outside. It was her first time in the trading hall. Seeing the fluctuating colors and numbers on the screen overwhelmed her. Mia, can you understand this stuff? I didn't even need to look. Ever since I bought my first stock, the market trends from 10 years before and 10 years after have been engraved in my mind. Unforgettable forever. I didn't mention any of this to my sister-in-law. I just smiled and said, I understand it. Trust me. At the securities company, I also saw a familiar figure. It was Eric's father. He was originally doing some paperwork, accompanied by a secretary, but then he got a phone call. His face changed, and he rushed into a black sedan parked at the door, heading toward our school. I stood at the door, silently watching the car disappear. My sister-in-law, having finished her paperwork, came to me. What are you looking at? I glanced at the sky. Nothing. It's just that the weather is changing. And sure enough, it changed. With my help, Eric eagerly went to the little grove, excited to see the surprise Lily had for him. Unexpectedly, as soon as he entered the grove, he heard indecipherable noises. Upon closer inspection, he found his goddess Lily with Tom, a guy he had never even looked at. This was probably the biggest shock Eric had experienced in his nearly 20 years of life. By the time he realized what was happening, the sound of an ambulance was already filling the air. Eric had beaten Tom so badly that he had to be rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. When I arrived at the hospital, Tom was already awake, wrapped in gauze and lying motionlessly on the bed. The scene was quite familiar to me. After all, in my previous life, I had pushed him in front to shield myself, and he often ended up beaten like this. But Lily had never seen such a scene before, and she was crying like her life depended on it. By Tom's bedside, Eric was brought into the hospital room by his father, who was initially worried about his son going to jail and wanted to negotiate a settlement. But Eric, like an enraged bull, charged at Tom the moment he entered the room. If it weren't for his father's two quick-witted secretaries holding him back, Tom might have been thrown out the window. Eric's father was urgent. Apologize now. Apologize for what? I intervened. I did nothing wrong. Eric panted heavily, pointing at Tom on the bed. He assaulted Lily. I beat him up because of that. Poor Eric. As a normal person without the perspective of rebirth, his first reaction upon seeing Tom with Lily was naturally this. At this moment, Eric looked hopefully at Lily. Lily, say something for me. I did it to save you. Eric's father also saw a glimmer of hope. Looking at Lily, young lady, you were a witness. Tell everyone the truth. For a moment, all eyes in the room were on Lily. She bit her lip, hesitating for a long time. Finally, she blushed and said softly, We were willing. Eric turned pale instantly. What, Lily? You can't be serious. Even though Tom was encased in plaster, he managed a smug smile from the bed. As a small-time thug, he had never in his life managed to make someone like Eric, a wealthy young master, suffer. Lily had given him this chance, and he was ecstatic. "That's right, Lily and I are in love," Tom said loudly, ignoring the pain from his wounds. "Eric intentionally hurt me. He should be in jail." Eric's father's face turned dark. He stepped forward, not looking at the bed-confined Tom, but instead tried to pressure Lily. "I advise you to think carefully before you speak." Eric's family was powerful and wealthy. Even my parents were getting scared, urging Lily, "Lily, why don't you think it over?" It was clear Lily was really torn, but she couldn't afford to offend Tom. Not only that, she had to hold on to Tom tightly. After all, he was the stock king, and compared to the future billions of wealth, Eric's family seemed insignificant at this moment. So she gripped Tom's hand tightly. "There's nothing to think about. Tom and I are in love, and anyone who hurts Tom should pay the price." Eric couldn't bear it any longer. He shook off the secretary's hands, charged up, and slapped Lily. "Lily, are you blind?" In the previous life, Eric's family went bankrupt shortly after their marriage, and he was always submissive to Lily. Lily never respected him. This was the first time this man she despised so much had slapped her, and she went mad. "Eric, who do you think you are? A spoiled rich kid who thinks money makes you invincible. Let me tell you, in a few years, your family will be bankrupt." With those words, even Eric's father, standing not far away, turned livid. Finally, Eric stormed out, and Lily chased after him, leaving just my family in the hospital room. My dad was so anxious he was rubbing his hands together. "Lily, why did you have to offend Eric?" My dad had recently started a small business, relying on Eric's family resources. With Lily offending Eric like this, his business was as good as dead. Lily frowned impatiently. "Dad, don't be so short-sighted. Business is just business." She looked at Tom like he was a precious gem, gently saying, "With Tom, we'll have everything." In the following days, my parents were busy dealing with Eric's family making things difficult in business. Lily was busy being sweet with Tom at the hospital. I was busy studying and making money. Everyone had a bright future. When Lily came home to make soup for Tom, she caught me diligently working on my homework. "Study hard," she sneered. "Study as much as you want, but even if you go to the best university, you'll still end up working for someone else." I ignored her, focusing on my homework. In my last life, I was forced to be with Tom and never had a chance to go to college. Later, I earned a degree through adult education, but it always felt like something was missing. Lily didn't understand that not all actions are for money. Money is a tool to achieve happiness, not happiness itself. For example, I wanted to experience 4 years of college, have a pure, unpolluted campus romance, gossip with roommates, discuss the future, and go for late-night snacks after club activities. These were joys I had never experienced in my previous life. After Lily left, I met up with my sister-in-law, Sarah. She had her lower face covered with a silk scarf, and I had my baseball cap pulled down low. We both looked like we were up to something shady. "I've been following your instructions to buy and sell," my cousin said. "This money is yours." She handed me a bank book. To my surprise, besides the initial $2,000, she had added all the money I earned. "What are you doing?" I said. "This profit was earned with your principal. That's your money. I should just take a cut." She waved me off. "I didn't do anything. Why should I take the money? I just lent you $2,000, and now you've returned it. I can't keep the profit." It was asking to be struck by lightning. We went back and forth for a while, but she wouldn't budge. "Here's the deal," I said. "I'll hire you." She was puzzled. "Hire me for what?" "I need to prepare for exams, so I need help with a lot of things. Plus, I can't open my own account until I'm 18. I'll still need to use your account. You should get a commission for this." She waved dismissively. "We're family." I grabbed her hand. "And when I graduate, I plan to start my own business. I hope you'll be my BD." She looked confused. "What's BD?" "Business development. You're outgoing, good at talking, likable, and great at networking. I think this job suits you." Before she could respond, we heard something at the front door. Lily and Tom were back. We exchanged a knowing look and dispersed without a sound. This was our plan all along. We had a significant amount of money, and it wasn't safe. Until I was strong enough, no one could know we made this money. I went home alone and heard Lily and Tom happily chatting in the bedroom. Tom's voice carried the excitement of someone about to achieve greatness. Tom said that the others were average, but not me. He immediately saw that I wasn't ordinary and decided to teach me everything he knows about investing. Lily was ecstatic. Tom, I knew this day would come. I peeled an apple in the kitchen and ate it. Oh, Tom, now I get it. In my previous life, Lily went to an ordinary university for prep, thanks to my parents' money. She never met Mike, but I did meet him. This Mike was always dapper in a three-piece suit. He had a captivating personality and gave gripping speeches about achieving financial freedom. Mike's appearance was perfect for Lily's expectations. Tom had started as a good-for-nothing punk, but he became a multi-billionaire known as the Stock King. This transformation was like a talentless boy turning into a legendary hero, which must involve some magical training or expert guidance. And now Lily thought she had found a miracle in Mike. Tomorrow we'll go see Mike again. Tom, you study hard with Mike and don't worry about anything else. Tom seemed troubled. But what about the $60,000 apprenticeship fee? I'll find a way, Lily said firmly. I almost bit into my apple core. I knew Lily wasn't very smart, but I didn't realize her brain was this smooth. If she could blame all her past failures on picking the wrong man, then she would naturally trust that her ticket to success was in paying a $60,000 fee to a guy named Mike. I met Mike in the previous life, and Tom was thrilled, begging to follow Mike to get rich. I stopped him, even though I was also young and inexperienced. I could tell something was off about Mike. If someone really knew how to make tons of money, they wouldn't spend their time teaching others. Why would someone that wealthy need to charge $60,000 for an apprenticeship? Tom called me narrow-minded back then. He said I was underestimating Mike's generosity. Mike wasn't in it for the money, he just wanted to help us get rich. Then why charge a $60,000 fee? I questioned. It's a way to screen people so Mike could see our commitment. In the end, since I refused to agree, Tom went to Mike himself. He didn't have the fee, but Mike didn't make a big deal and agreed to take him under his wing, making Tom admire him even more. They went south together, and I didn't hear from Tom for over a year. When I finally saw Tom again, he had escaped from a pyramid scheme and called me, crying for help. Mia, save me. I did feel a bit of pity for Lily and Tom, heading straight for Mike. That night, I overheard Lily talking to my mom. Mom, Mia will turn 18 this weekend. I think she can start dating. Tom knows a rich older guy. He's older, but is willing to pay an $18,000 bride price. Our family's struggling, Dad's business is gone, and Tom has this opportunity, but he needs $60,000. So maybe we can arrange for Mia to meet him, if not for any other reason, for the bride price. Turns out, Lily's plan to raise the $60,000 was to sell me off. That sliver of pity I felt faded completely. Go ahead and ruin yourselves, Lily. I'm really looking forward to watching you dig your own grave. Sure enough, on my 18th birthday, my family did something unusual and got me a birthday cake with cream. My present was a new dress, and my parents made me spin around in front of the mirror, praising me. Mia is really turning into a beauty at 18. Even Lily chimed in with admiration. Mia is so cute and does well in her studies. Rich people love that. My parents took the opportunity to bring up the topic of me dating. Though he's a few years older, thanks, he's 47 and I'm 18, but his nice older men are more considerate. Thanks, his two previous wives divorced him because they couldn't handle his domestic violence. Internally, I cursed, but outwardly, I smiled sweetly. Sure, thanks to my parents and Lily for worrying about my future. I'm willing to go on a blind date, but I'm taking the college entrance exam soon. Let's meet him after the exams. My parents and Lily didn't expect me to be so cooperative and were very pleased. At night, I overheard them talking. They guessed Mia knew she couldn't find anyone good on her own. Once she hears he's rich, she'd definitely be willing. I sneered while continuing to study. Before I knew it, it was time for the exams. Since I wasn't forced to marry Tom in this life, I was able to take the exams smoothly. I've always been a good student, so when I finished the last exam and handed in my paper, I felt confident. After leaving the exam hall, I didn't go home. I went straight to the hotel. My sister-in-law Sarah was already waiting there. Here's what you asked for. She handed me a newly bought suitcase. Inside were clothes, a computer, a phone, and toiletries, all purchased according to the list I gave her. I wasn't planning on going back home. You know, if you leave like this, your parents will probably freak out. I grabbed the suitcase. Even if they freak out, it will only be because of the lost bride price, not because of me. I looked at my sister-in-law earnestly. Come with me, Sarah. This summer, I'm going to a place with lots of opportunities. You can be my BD and we'll make a lot of money together. Sarah's hands, accustomed to housework, clenched the edges of her apron tightly. I could see she was scared. After a long pause, she sighed. Mia, you go. You're meant for big things. I can't do it. Sarah said goodbye to me and went home alone. She cried all the way. She hated herself, but she didn't even know exactly what she hated. She wasn't a brave person and had spent the first half of her life following orders. When her parents told her to stop studying, she stopped. When they told her to take care of her younger brother, she became his second mom. When they told her to marry to get the money for her brother's bride, she married a man who hit her. Whatever her husband told her to do, she did. Everyone around her seemed to live the same way. No one resisted. The only person who taught her to resist was me, a girl who had just turned 18. Girls at that age are always full of naive courage. But Sarah had none and had courage even as a little girl. And now, at her age, she had even less. Sarah went home. The house was a mess. Her husband lay on the mattress, surrounded by empty bottles. As soon as she walked in, a bottle flew past her, shattering against the doorframe, splinters hitting her. Home so late, trying to starve me. These kinds of conversations happen daily. Sarah lowered her head and went to the kitchen to cook. She chopped the vegetables loudly, trying to drown out her husband's curses, but the insults still flooded her ears. You don't work, you don't bring in any money, you eat my food and live in my house. So you better take care of me. And don't give me any crap about that cyst medical record. I'm telling you, if you don't give me a son this year, I'll break your legs. Sarah silently chopped vegetables. A strange warmth flowed through her heart, and she chopped faster and faster. She remembered many things. She remembered her savings account, which had $10,000 in it, all left by Mia, while her husband gave her only $1,000 a month for household expenses and still blamed her for not knowing how to manage. Sarah remembered Mia's words. Sarah, awakening is a long process, but also a sudden moment. We all think if we just bear it, life will go on, but it doesn't. There will be a moment when you think, I'm done. At that moment, you'll step into a whole new world. Sarah was chopping potatoes when her husband yelled, Is it done yet? What's taking so long in the kitchen? Trying to starve me, running around all day should tie you up with a dog leash. Sarah suddenly slammed the knife onto the cutting board. She said, Screw this! On a peculiar afternoon, Sarah's husband suddenly saw his famously good-natured wife rush out of the kitchen with a knife, screaming, Screw this! I'm done. Sarah ran out of the house. She left everything behind, her carefully managed home, her marriage, her original family. She didn't look back once. She ran down the road. Ahead was a stunning sunset, but she had a strong feeling. She was heading toward a new world. Just as I was about to leave the hotel for the train station, Sarah ran up. She had lost a slipper. Her hair was a mess, and she still wore an apron. She came up, out of breath. Mia, I've made up my mind. I'm coming with you, she said. Put the knife down first. On the day she said goodbye to the old world, my sister-in-law Sarah had been chopping vegetables in the kitchen. In her excitement, she forgot to put the knife down. Luckily, the sight of the knife stopped her violent husband from trying to stop her, and she could escape safely. I bought Sarah a new pair of shoes and then got her a train ticket. She kept looking at me with bright eyes. Mia, you mentioned making me a BD. What do I need to learn? Even though I'm old, I can learn, I corrected her. Also, you're not old. At 25, you still have time for everything. Yes, there's still time, she said cheerfully. Mia, I think I can be a great BD. It's fine. Starting is always good. The future gives us plenty of time. The train started down the tracks, the sun setting like gold outside the window. My sister-in-law was excitedly studying a vocabulary book beside me, and I leaned against the window, gazing at the endless scenery. The next 10 years are going to be a decade of soaring success. Opportunities are endless. I'm ready. This time, I'm only going to do better than before. I saw Lily again 3 years later. She and Tom had escaped from a pyramid scheme den and were making statements at the police station. Since I was a relative, the police called me in. When I saw Lily again, I almost didn't recognize her. Even though only 3 years had passed, Lily looked like she had aged 20 years. She already had gray hair and deep wrinkles between her eyebrows, while Tom was hunched over and had a sly look in his eyes. How should I put it? Went from a small-time crook to an old crook. Lily couldn't recognize me either. I wore a silk dress with no logos, but you could tell it was expensive from the fabric. My previously dark and thin skin had turned fair and delicate, and my once dull yellow hair had become jet black and silky, casually draped over my shoulders. The car that took me to the police station was a familiar Rolls-Royce. The driver in white gloves opened the door for me, and bodyguards in black suits followed silently behind. Lily was stunned watching me sit in front of her. No, impossible. I pretended to be confused. What's impossible? You didn't marry Tom? Tom is mine. Lily's voice suddenly became hoarse and screeching. How are you rich? I frowned impatiently. It's been 3 years since we last saw each other. And this is how you greet me. When did I ever try to snatch Tom from you? He's definitely yours. Rest assured. My tone was very cold. I already knew what happened 3 years ago. Right after the college entrance exam, I ran away. My parents couldn't find me, so the arranged marriage fell through. To raise the $60,000 for Tom's apprenticeship fee, Lily took out a high-interest loan. She firmly believed investing in Tom was worth it, and no amount of interest could overshadow Tom's future wealth. Then one wrong step led to another. Loyal to Mike, they followed him south and ended up in a pyramid scheme den. They were controlled, beaten, and had their freedom restricted. Lily nearly went crazy and repeatedly asked Tom, "Did you experience this in your past life?" But Tom hadn't reincarnated, so he couldn't answer her. At this moment, Lily faced me, trying hard to figure out what went wrong. After a long while, she gave me a creepy smile. I understand now. You meme-ized the stocks Tom bought in the last life and replicated his actions this time, didn't you? I played with the jade ring on my finger. Couldn't be bothered to respond to Lily. With that level of intelligence, she's really not worth talking to. A great opportunity to start again is right in front of her, and she could have at least memed some lottery numbers. But nope, she just fixated on Tom. Doesn't matter. Tom escaped from the pyramid scheme. He can buy stocks later on. Mia, you just wait and see. This lifetime, I will definitely live better than you. So, after leaving the police station, Lily borrowed money wherever she could to raise enough for Tom to buy stocks. But I didn't know anything about this. Tom was very perplexed. Don't worry, you're the stock king. You can buy based on your intuition. Tom didn't know what the stock king was, but listening to Lily's flattery and reading a few stories online about getting rich through stock trading, he got all fired up, thinking his turn was next. So he bought a large amount. At first, he actually made some money by luck. Lily was overjoyed, and they soon invested all their money back into the stock market. Then, an unprecedented crash happened. Lily couldn't believe it. She gripped Tom's hand. It's okay, Tom. You're the stock king. We can definitely make a comeback. They decided to get a good night's sleep and figure out a plan the next day. The next morning, Tom woke up, rubbing his eyes, and said to Lily, I had a dream. In my dream, in the last life, when Mia and I were in the equipment room, you didn't barge in. So we ended up getting married. Later, you went on to study and married Eric. I stayed with Mia in our hometown. Mike showed up, and I wanted to be his apprentice, but Mia wouldn't let me. I went behind her back and got scammed into the pyramid scheme. Years later, I escaped, and Mia came to bail me out. By then, she was very wealthy. She said she didn't want to care about me, but if I still wanted to follow her, I'd have to work for her. She made me do interviews with the media. They took my pictures and called me the stock king. I agreed and repeated the lines Mia told me to. Actually, I didn't understand anything. I was just a shield for Mia, and those who hated the stock king would take it out on me. I nearly got beaten to death a few times. I knew Mia hated me. This was her way of punishing me, but I didn't dare leave, nor tell the truth, because I was scared Mia wouldn't care about me anymore. Then I'd just be a complete loser in society. Tom finished speaking and saw Lily's face looking dreadful. He waved his hand in front of her. Mad at me, Lily. Tom coaxed her. I dreamt of being with your sister. Are you jealous? Sorry, I definitely love you the most. Tom mumbled in confusion, but that dream was too detailed, wasn't it? Before Tom could finish, Lily let out a piercing scream. She tore at her hair, screamed like crazy, and even banged her head against the wall. Tom hadn't grabbed her in time, and Lily fainted. So when your sister woke up, she was like this. In the mental hospital, I watched the woman before me. She had gone insane, sitting on the bed, laughing foolishly, and then bursting into tears. I gave so much, so much. I'm the female protagonist in a rebirth story. Rebirth heroines always rise to the top. Why? Why didn't anything change? I told Tom to leave and sat down next to Lily. You don't get it. Rebirth isn't what's useful. It's the advantage of information asymmetry, changes in thinking and perception. And you don't have any of that. But still, thanks for sending me back. I sincerely appreciate it. Because of you, I've lived a very successful life. Lily stared at me. After a moment, she screamed again, "Keep an eye on her. Don't let her hurt herself." I instructed the medical staff and then left the psychiatric hospital. Today, I had someone important to meet. Deep in an alley was a small shop with a blue-tiled roof. There was a sign at the door, "Wish Shop." It looked like a shop only middle schoolers would visit. I walked in. A handsome young man was dozing off behind the counter, hugging a big yellow cat. When he heard the noise, he immediately stood up. "Welcome." He froze for a moment when he saw my face. "Sorry for the wait. What's your wish?" I smiled. "Drop the act. I know my sister got her chance at rebirth because of you all. It took me a long time to find this clue." This inconspicuous little shop had a manager named Olivia and an assistant manager named Mark. The information I found was strange. Olivia was just an ordinary college girl, but I couldn't find anything about Mark. At that moment, Mark handed me a cup of hot tea. I wasn't interested in drinking it. I got straight to the point. "Name your price. I can pay whatever. I just have one request. No more rebirths for Lily." "Yes, that's what I want to do. Block Lily's path to another rebirth." Mark was taken aback for a moment, then laughed. "You might have misunderstood. Our actual client isn't Lily, it's you." I frowned. Time reversal is a high-cost service. We only offer it to the most deserving customers. You were someone we selected a long time ago. "Then why didn't you come to me?" I asked. "We tried. Many times we left flyers where you could see them, sent text messages, but you ignored them all. It was quite possible. I was incredibly busy, swamped in work. Even important emails needed my assistant's reminder. There was no way I'd notice what looked like junk ads. So we turned to Lily instead. She had a lot of unresolved issues from her past and readily accepted." I raised an eyebrow. Did she know she was being used? "Come on. Used is a strong word," Mark said, shrugging. In the sunlight, his features glowed with a golden hue. "Yes, we gave her rebirth. The cost was taking you along for the ride as well." All terms were laid out clearly, and she agreed. Straight business, as for what happens after, that's out of our control. Whether one defies fate or makes it worse is up to individual capability. We're not responsible, you see. "Then one last question," I said. "Why choose me?" "That's simple. You've already answered it with your actions," Mark said with a smile. "This time, you changed your investment path, putting more effort into the real economy. You created nearly 10,000 jobs and drove manufacturing reform." He added, "Many lives changed because of you." Like Sarah, there was a picture of Sarah on a financial magazine on Mark's counter. She was smiling radiantly, successful as a female entrepreneur, no longer the woman who met a tragic end due to domestic violence in the past life. "And many more women like Sarah," Mark noted. "It's been a deal well worth our while." When Olivia returned to the Wish Shop, Mark was searching for something to cover his instant noodles. "Want a bite?" Mark asked. Olivia ignored him, opened her notebook, and confirmed the follow-up details of the business. Lily would spend the rest of her life in a psychiatric hospital, her parents bankrupt and in debt, Tom sick and homeless. Eric was in prison for assault and his father was a convict. Olivia noted the outcomes of these side characters, but none of this should matter to Miss Mia. These people couldn't stop her in the last life, and they couldn't in this one either. As Miss Mia said, she'd only lead more people to greater heights. Finished with her thoughts, Olivia looked at the noodles in front of Mark. "What's that?" "Instant noodles," Mark replied. "I asked if you wanted some." "No, I mean the thing beside it, the one you use to wipe the soup." Mark glanced over, dumbfounded. It's the check Mia left us. He had accidentally wiped the spilled noodle soup with the check Mia gave to thank them. A check worth an enormous amount. It couldn't be used now. Quick, let me go back 10 minutes. Quickly? Olivia was exasperated. Mark, that's not how we use our power. Hurry, let me go back. It's over 50 million. A mini rebirth occurred within the shop, and the next wealthy client was probably already on the way.